from Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Well, we have quite a lot of ground to cover today. So without further ado, if Mickey will allow, and now Aurora, I will plunge right in with an apology. Sorry, Canadians, but thank you so much for correcting my error in pronouncing Canukes incorrectly. You wouldn't believe it. My sister lived in Canada. Her first 2 children were born in Canada. She loved Canada. Oh, absolutely worshipped, cried when she had to leave Canada. Oh, that, of course, was many years ago. But and this is from Ellery Faye Ireland, and it's personal, and I'm afraid I have to read it out because I stand corrected. In fact, I stand admonished. Lady C, this is my 3rd time asking about the ivory vase behind you. It is very important to me, but I do know you are a very busy lady. I have 2 of them from my mom and would like to find out something about them. Please, love your show and never miss you. Thank you so very much. Again, thank you. Sorry, I stand admonished. Ellery Faye Ireland, I know absolutely nothing about those vases. I bought them in auction some years ago. I bought them because I liked them. Other people have asked me about them. Some people have 1, some people have 2. I don't think they're anything that special. I just liked the look of them. I would think they're most likely ivorine instead of ivory, but it doesn't matter. I like them. You know, if I like something, I like it. And beyond that, I'm afraid, I'm sorry for not having answered it before. Okay? Now, I'm going to start off on a note of levity, if you will indulge me, because Derek says, William was shouting at the television, "Run, you idiot, run!" Catherine walked in and asked, "Are you watching a horror movie?" William replied, "No, I'm watching Harry's wedding video." I have to say, some of you are just cards. And while we're on the subject of levity, A. Roots wants to know. Question. If you were asked to go back to I'm a Celebrity for another All-Stars series, would you go back? Well, to those of you who are not British, I'm a Celebrity is the most successful show in this country and has been for about 2 decades now. And I was on it, and when they did the 20th anniversary video, I got more coverage than anybody else who was in the jungle. That says something. I'm not sure necessarily positively, but it says something. And I was asked to do the last I'm a Celebrity or All-Star series, I think it's called. And I said, only if you're going to pay me X. I make no pretense about it. I do not do things like that for anything except the money. It couldn't be simpler. I make no pretense. I am upfront about it. I am, shall we say, scoring for goring, but instead of SC, we can use WH. But since this is YouTube, one has to skirt around delicate matters. And I said to them, sorry, you're not paying me enough. I'm not doing it. And they tried to convince me. And I pointed out to them, don't haggle with me. I'm sorry. Would you be haggling with a streetwalker? No. Well, don't haggle with me. The price is the price. I'll only do things like that for the money. I absolutely loathed my time in the jungle. I have no doubt I would loathe it again. I'm not a masochist. I'm not prepared to do anything except for a higher purpose. If it's going to be an inconvenience or if it is going to be unpleasant. It's my duty to do all I can to keep this place tickety-boo. And so I'm happy to make the sacrifice only for the money. And an awful lot of people in the media industry don't seem to get it. They think that everybody wants fame and recognition and attention. I couldn't care less, as I keep on pointing out to them. So the short answer is, I'll do it if they pay me enough, and if they don't, not a chance. And Betty Boop says something I didn't know. It is a well-known fact that Coke gives you halitosis. Well, I don't know what that says about Coca-Cola. Fortunately, I prefer Pepsi. If you get my drift. And on that note, we will plunge in with the Van Tules say, we keep trying to figure out the relationship between Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan. After yesterday's red dress and the pins of perfection, she has fabulous legs, doesn't she? Was Meghan's need to flee the royal family simply jealousy? I cannot think of a single female that could compete with the vision in red and the pins of perfection. Amal, Angelina, the Jennifers, Posh, no one could have pulled off that perfect moment of the Princess of Wales getting out of that car. Even though she flashed those pins of perfection, I love it. It was unintentional. She reacted with poise, calm, beauty, and perfection. Who else could pull that off so perfectly? Not even Diana, and she was good at this. The Van Tules, I had to read it out because what you have said summarizes a sentiment that many other people possess. I mean, there are no two ways about it. Catherine Wales is a gorgeous looking woman. She doesn't only have a gorgeous face and an unreconstructed face in terms of God. She's got what God gave her. And she has a fabulous figure. She is a true ectomorph. Edie Ray says, I just read an article saying the Prince and Princess of Wales were not getting along. Prince William is said to be jealous of all the attention the princess gets. I love it. Like father, like son. Why can't these royal men just be proud of their wives? I think it proves William did a good job picking a spouse. Edie Ray, it does show that Prince William did a good job picking a spouse, and that he was very careful to not only make sure that he chose correctly, but that she was up for everything as well. Prince William is not jealous of Catherine. Prince William is, of the two of them, far quieter and more retiring, far more introverted than she is. I mean, he's happy to have her shine. He's proud of her, and he's relieved that he doesn't have to be shining the whole time. He's not jealous of her. He is relieved that he has chosen so brilliantly. Oh, I know, the Sussex squad plant all these rubbish stories so that everybody will think the Wales marriage is in trouble and the Sussexes are Romeo and Juliet, Abelard and Eloise, Mutt and Jeff, Armpit and Deodorant, Batty and Bench. My understanding is that the marriage that has far more rockiness in it, and far more turbulence, and far more drama, and far more, shall we say, elements that affect trust, is Harry and Meghan's. Don't believe a word of it. It's all utter rubbish. Prince William chose somebody for life who would make a good queen, who would make a good Princess of Wales, who would make a worthy addition to the family. He chose with the right head. That doesn't mean there isn't genuine feeling in the marriage. There is. Their body language conveys that much to those who wish to look. And neither William nor Catherine is an exhibitionist, which is more than we can say for Ayushka. Santeria. Windshield wipers for days. Kay Green says, the Canadian national anthem Bad Behaviour by Mimi is even worse than I thought. The girl singing was autistic, and the game was associated with an autism association. So Mimi and Haz were last-minute Invictus sponsors and not planned ahead. Mimi making fun of the singer is unforgivably horrible behaviour. The autism awareness folks probably had a kid set up to drop the puck. The team schedule doesn't mention the Harkles. Well, it wasn't going to. Because, as with everything else, it's parachuting in, bending backs to create favours, and also, with all that has been going on at Invictus and the scandal behind the scenes of the departure of the two most senior members of staff of Invictus, there's an awful lot of holes to plug, let's put it that way. Therese Brosnan says, And my voice as advocate for an young adult daughter. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Sorry. And others like her with autism who do not have a voice to protest the disrespect and, yes, inherent abuse in the behaviour of the grifters, Meghan and Harry, towards this community of individuals with disabilities. Make their actions known and keep them far removed from those who cannot protect themselves. Well, Therese Brosnan, in defense of Harry, he did not participate. Meghan tried to rope him in with, isn't that just funny? I mean, there are those people. Can you imagine? Not talented and classy like me, singing "Oh Canada," unless of course she was saying, "H, isn't it fabulous?" They're singing to us, the Prince and Princess of Canada. Maybe that was the message. Gosh, I tell you, this is just beyond belief. Well, I suppose in the cold light of day, one could say it was a very bad behaviour, but maybe Meghan was ecstatic with joy for being in the public eye. Or maybe, oh gosh, I think I have a head cold coming on. Maybe she was high on the occasion. She certainly looks as if she was high on something. Cindy Foley says, "Dear Lady C, I have watched your video that you downloaded on Thursday, November the 23rd. You have answered questions on the Montecito duo at the Vancouver Canucks." Check it out, Canucks. The ook in Canuck is pronounced like, sorry, I've done it incorrectly again. Oh dear. Slap me, Aurora. Mickey, come on, give Motty slaps with your paw. At the Vancouver Canucks. The uk in Canuck is pronounced like puck. Hockey game. Sorry. I'm covered in mortification. I am a proud Canadian who was utterly disgusted by their whole behaviour at the game. H&M were given Vancouver Canuck jerseys at a cost of approximately $250 each. H should have worn the jersey when he was privileged enough to drop the puck. There are approximately 19,000 fans that attend each Vancouver Canuck home game. When the puck is dropped, there is thunderous clapping and feet stomping. Harry received very little clapping, which says a lot about their attendance at the game. I'm reading this obviously because it's very revelatory of what really happened. They were in Vancouver to promote the Invictus Games. Actually, they were in Vancouver to wangle their way in to get some publicity. The whole thing was orchestrated for yet more. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Harry and Meghan should have worn either the hockey jerseys or Invictus Games clothing with the logo on it. I do not understand why Marcus Anderson was at the game with Harry and Meghan. Could you please shed some light on this? I'm sorry for the long post. Thank you so much for all the work you provide on all your videos. Hugs to you and your fur babies from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hugs to you too. And thanks for what you said. Why was Marcus Anderson there? He and Meghan are great friends. They have been great friends ever since he was affording her the opportunity to park her body and keep her clothes at the Soho house so that she could travel freely and hopefully meet herself a rich Englishman, which she did. Which she did. You know, he's in the business of networking, and I don't decry his presence there. I have nothing against Marcus Anderson. Oh, he's been a very successful. He has come from nowhere and done a very good job. And I don't think that we should tar him with the brush that we tar Meghan with, because he's never actually put a foot out of line. Think about it, you know? And if he wishes to be friends with her, and she certainly wishes to be friends with him, all those privileges. I just love privileges. Marcus, can I have some more privileges, please? And it sure saves paying or having someone else pay for suites at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She can use Soho House instead. Not that there is a Soho House beside the Beverly Hills Hotel, but you get my drift, I hope. Christina Scallion says, Meghan knows nothing about Indigenous youth, yet managed to arrange a speaking event for herself in Vancouver. They're trying to turn this Invictus promotion into a pretend royal visit, milking their titles and behaving as if we little Canadians should be in awe of them. You mean you shouldn't be? Christina Scallion, you're a racist. How could you not be in awe of Meghan Markle? You've got to be in awe of her. I mean, she's the most fabulous human being on earth. And she's certainly milking everything to do with Harry. And Harry's sometimes embarrassed, sometimes loving it. Oh, those mixed feelings. Poor H. But yes, you're absolutely right. They are trying to rebrand themselves. Yet again, the word rebrand is enough to drive one nuts. But they, or she really, it's she more than he. He's not really. It's not him. It's Meghan. She's the one who's doing it. She is trying to rebrand herself to make the big bucks that will give her the pot of gold, a marital community property pot. She needs to do it while she's with him, because he's the one, and she knows it, everybody's interested in. Nobody's interested in her. He's still, being a royal prince, has some residue of the golden glow that royalty normally has attached to it. Of course, every day it's becoming brassier and brassier, but my understanding is absolutely no one wants to have anything to do with her, but people will tolerate her to reach him. Also, with the feeling that if and when the marriage is over, he will remember them. I think they're very deluded there, but there we go. Andrea Conroy says, Lady C, have you heard about Kitsons in Hollywood having highlighted the Harkles in their front window for their hypocrisy? I mean, I don't know what Kitsons is, but apparently it's a top-notch store where all the celebs go to be seen. Yes. Kitsons is a chic store where people like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian would make sure they got papped when they were starting out. And yet another nail in the coffin of humiliation for Harry and Meghan. You know, when South Park, that other television show, I've forgotten its name, also Entertainment Tonight or whatever it's called, because I'm sorry, I never look at television, so sorry. But all the shows that have been ribbing and mocking them, Chris Rock, remember? Meghan's won the fair skin lottery, says Chris. She don't know what she's complaining about. That's right, Chris. Nobody does. Certainly, nobody with a foot in a West Indian or an African American country or an African country or a Caribbean country. So, and that doesn't matter whether you're black or white, everybody knows the score. And everybody knows what the white skin or the fair skinned lottery or the light skinned lottery is all about. Yeah, Kitsons have called them out for their hypocrisy. They are figures of fun. They are mocked. They are figures of revilement at this point. All because of their behavior. And they haven't yet got the message. It's nothing to do with race or anything else. It's totally to do with their conduct and the lousy characters that they show us they possess. I think it's wonderful. It's, as I say, yet another nail in their coffin. Lynn Robb says, David Letterman had his say on Mimi Markle on Colbert's show the other night. He had interviewed her on his show, which was never shown because the higher-ups were concerned for legal reasons. Talking to Stephen Colbert, he said it may be shown on Netflix one day. Netflix. Incidentally, let me interject at this stage. Do you remember I said some time ago that Netflix was going to wait until after The Crown had come out because they needed to be sure that Harry's silence was assured with regard to the handling of the Crown? And do you remember I said that afterwards, the word in Hollywood was that afterwards Netflix would be looking again at their contracts with Meghan and Harry? Well, a little birdie confirmed to me that Netflix is taking out the magnifying glass. Oh, this time I'm really crying. I'm gonna be broke. It's awful. It's so dreadful. I'm gonna be broke. I've never been broke in my life before. Never. Not this. I'm gonna be broke. What am I gonna do? Darn What's that Lauren Sanchez's man's name again? Jeff? Oh, Jeff. Oh, I love buff bodies. I do. And just look at my sweet posterior. Have you ever seen a perkier posterior than that? And yeah, Jeff, I'll get implants. Will 44Q be big enough? Let me continue, sorry. Talking to Stephen Colbert, he said it may be shown on Netflix one day. I think you can maybe hold your breath for that one. You don't need to be sort of have a death wish. I think it's going to happen at some point. But let's hope you are a deep sea diver, because you're going to hold your breath for quite a while. But on the show, he challenged her out on some of her BS. And she either deflected the question or expanded on the lie. His assessment of her was a brutal fact, and he nailed it. While being charming, he said, she was lying through her teeth. I hope we get to see it. I hope so too. Nothing like dishonest people unmasking themselves. And nothing like pretentious people unmasking themselves. And nothing like phonies unmasking themselves. Not, of course, for legal reasons that I'm suggesting that Meghan is either a phony or a fraud. Oh, no. And I'm certainly not suggesting she's dishonest. Oh, no, she's a picture of honesty. She knows that truth is a 3-letter word. Oh. Or is it 4 or 5 letters? Difficult one not to crack, don't you think? Ewing Shannon says, TikTok on Meghan's WME contract. We're tired of concert photos, etc. Have they gotten her any work? No, she's box office poison. I've been saying that for some time. I have good friends in Hollywood. I have good Hollywood connections. WME can try till it's blue in the face to turn that saucer into a silk purse. Everybody knows it's a saucer, and they know it comes from a real pig. Don't take my word for it. Roll back and ask Queen Elizabeth II and ask Prince Philip what they thought of that honking creature. Mary Fran says, help, Lady C, help. Why is the Life and Style November the 20th, 2023 weekly magazine cover showing Meghan and Harry's photo with captions, Harry and Meghan's secret deal with King Charles, moving back to London? Aurora, Mickey, quick, go and get Harry and Meghan's slippers, because remember, they're also coming to stay at Castle Goring. The article begins on page 24 and ends on page 26. Is it true? Oh my dear, oh my dear, oh my dear. Is it true that pigs fly? Is it true that pigs fly? Then yet another flying pig from Piggy Piggy and her honking, stonking Todger. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what the aim is. The aim is for Meghan to get as much publicity as she can, in the hope that if nothing else materializes in terms of offers, which, as you have noticed, have been slim on the ground. Oh, sorry. I just got a message beamed from Dior. They're dropping Meg Bellamy. They want Meg Markle. And I've just seen a message from the Oscar committee. They are having Meghan present the Oscar for Best Picture. And Anna Wintour has just sent me a message to say Meghan's going to be the guest of honor at the next Met Gala. Oh, and let's not forget it. They are also going to be renting a small apartment in Kensington Palace. Only 125 rooms. 32 of which are going to be bathrooms, because they're going to be more full of it. And they're going to need every one of those bathrooms. What the aim of all of this is, what the game plan is, that Meghan will, having bombed at everything else, will hopefully succeed with The Pig, her new website, blog, whatever it's called. She's going to be across all the media as The Pig. It's going to be a lifestyle blog. You've got to wear these stinky little earrings like me, because they're just fabulous. And you can buy them from Meghan's Meghan's Crash Basket for $7.99. And if you're really classy, you can get $9. And if you're really fabulous, you can get the ones for $399.99. They all look the same, but some are better class and quality than others. That's what she's all about. And she is hoping that this is, I'm told, the game plan. And remember, the operative word is hoping, that she will be paid big bucks to mention products. Well, when she was on the TIG, she didn't get paid any great fortune, but she managed to use the TIG to wangle her way into circles and to get freebies. Well, she's hoping that she can emulate the Kardashians and Gwyneth Paltrow and what's her name? The other one, Paris Hilton, who gets a lot of money for placing products. And their theory is that if she is famous enough, irrespective of whether she is truly infamous as opposed to famous, because she is in the public eye, companies will pay. They're not going to pay the class of money they would pay the Kardashians or Paris Hilton. So if they we're going to pay them $200,000, they'll pay her $20,000. But if she does enough stuff, she keeps her head above water. That's the game plan. The game plan. And it makes sense if you remember having watched Mad Max and the Madison Avenue advertising philosophy. Antagonism makes a product memorable. And they think that there's no such thing as a bad publicity, and that as long as she is memorable, that they will be able to have product placements. Where I think all of this falls flat is that when people don't like you, they don't want to buy anything that you have to sell. There's a heck of a difference between a desirable product that has an irritating ad that people find memorable and an irritating product that nobody wants to touch. I hope I've made that clear. Agnes Vanya says, Dear Lady C, is it a feature of the narcissist to speak of themselves in a tone that I can only describe as reverential? I noticed this in Meg's speeches to the UN and One Young World, and even in her 40th broadcast, as she told Melissa McCarthy, I've had an idea. She sounds just like someone paying tribute to a hero, a beloved public figure. She also ends so many of her word salad sentences with right, demanding agreement. Are these usual signs or just her? Interesting question. I'll answer the second part first. Using the word right at the end of a sentence is what Nikki Haslam would regard as common. It is inelegant. It is a mark of unsophistication. It is a mark of indecorousness. It is a mark of manipulativeness. It is also a mark of weakness. So I hope that answers that part. And yes, nobody has a higher regard for him or herself than the narcissist has for him or herself. As far as they're concerned, they're the only thing in the world that is of true value. And very often when they speak about themselves, they do give away, is actually a better word. They give away the reverence with which they regard their facade, because it's a facade. Their whole life, every action, every movement, every thought, every feeling is geared towards not only maintaining the facade and utilizing the facade to achieve their desires and ambitions, but to also conceal from themselves and from everybody else their underlying recognition of the fact that they are pathetically lacking. Narcissists usually have crashing inferiority complexes. They are usually so insecure. They understand from a very early age something that we only learn through unpleasant experience of their conduct, which is that they are empty vessels. Or as South Park summarized, remember, when Harry opened up Meghan's lid and there was nothing there? I think that says it all. Julia Maitland says, "Isn't it a coincidence, Lady C, that all this information regarding narcissism has only surfaced since methane became notorious, with all her nefarious and manipulative behavior?" I don't think it's actually coincidental, Julia Maitland. I think that's a very good question, a very good observation. But I don't think it's coincidental. I think it is elucidatory. The subject of narcissism had already reared its ugly head before Meghan came on the scene to be its perfect illustrator. It came up because until relatively recently, narcissism was the domain of the overprivileged, of the spoilt, of the indulged. Most people were not sufficiently prosperous until relatively late in the 20th century to be able to bring their children up with such entitlement that they would grow into narcissists. The wave of narcissism that has washed up on Western shores is not only a sign of prosperity, it is a sign of the breakdown in Western values in terms of honor, integrity, in preference for materialism, in entitlement, and nobody thinks in terms anymore of privileges. They think that privileges are rights. This is always an error that every society that has reached its pinnacle makes. The ancient Romans did the same thing. As soon as a society converts privileges into rights, it begins to decline. And you then have, well, what we can call narcissism. So Meghan's advent on the scene has coincided with a problem, really, in society that people had begun to become aware of. That's a fact. If you look back on before Meghan arrived, narcissism was already becoming a hot topic, so to speak. It wasn't when I wrote Daughter of Narcissus. Daughter of Narcissus was one of the first books on the market to actually cover narcissism in a comprehensive way. Now there are countless books on the market. There are countless television shows on the market. It is the hot topic to such an extent that people confuse narcissism with narcissistic personality disorder. Meghan, in my opinion, is a true narcissist. I think she actually displays symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder, as indeed did my mother. But a lot of what is called narcissistic nowadays is sloppy, lazy thinking and sloppy, lazy definition. It's people who are too entitled, too spoiled, but they're not actually true narcissists, because every healthy person displays some features of narcissism. Narcissism in its infancy, so to speak, is, no, I will confuse you if I say it like that. Narcissism is an overblown, exaggerated, destructive failing of the virtues of healthy ego structure. That's a better way of putting it. Meghan arrived, and her conduct and her flagrancy and her truly unembarrassed shamelessness have simply meant that she has elected herself to be the role model for what to avoid, because she is so recognizably narcissistic that people have gravitated towards her as a living lesson in what not to be and what to avoid. I hope that answers the question. And on that note, I will say thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been of some interest to you. Please keep the questions and comments coming in so I will know what you would like us to be speaking about. Okay, thank you so much. God bless. And if you have truly enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell, and Godspeed.